Hello and welcome to another Raggy's beer review. I don't know what I've done with that, I can't move it. Oh well. So today, beautiful day, lovely summer's day. We're still in April. I'm unsure of the date, but that's not much for me. So today, got this from adventurebeer.co.uk, who I'm sure they're actually moving to Lenton Lane's Brewery. Um, he did say it at one stage, like most companies looking to not pay out for premises that are taken away from the business and making them, a lot of businesses are struggling. So, but luckily still alive. You know. So anyway, this is the Lenton Lane collaboration with a place to brew. Now, a place to brew is like a home. It's a homebrew club based in the Daybrook area of Nottingham, so literally a stone's throw from Raggy's Beer Reviews. And it's an homebrew club where you can pay certain amounts of money per month. They have different memberships. I need to get that off that chair before it smashes my glasses. Yeah, they have different memberships. That's better. I remember the last time I looked. Sadly, it's not for me because, to be honest, money these days, it's never always easy, But it's a fantastic idea. So they've got their own grain brew kit, and you can be a member where you're just a member and you pay a certain price, or you can pay a bit more and actually do the brewing on the kit and all that. So for people who want to do grain brewing on a decent bit of kit, it's a really interesting thing to get into. And plus also they do events, brewing events, open days. I need to go next time they have an open day. I will need to go over and use this channel to highlight what they do. But in any case, and I'm sure that the people who run the place to brew are the same people who own the Abdication Micropub. Unless I'm wrong, of course, and I've been wrong many times before, most days. So this is their collaboration beer, and this is Don't Fear the RIPA Red IPA. I've had this on cask, and I've got to tell you, it was absolutely spot on. We had it at the Robin Hood and Little John in Arnold, the Lincoln Green Brewing Pub, and it was top notch. Really, probably one of the best beers that day on cask. So I'm really interested to see what it's like today. It's described as malty, fruity, and hoppy. It's 4.9%. And it was the culmination of a brew day down at Lenton Lane Brewery, which was lovely of Lenton Lane to do, to show this homebrew group how the brewing works and part of the day, and well played Jack for that. And literally this week, this Sunday, if you watch this, literally when it's released, if not, then it won't make no difference. But this Sunday, the same group, Place to Brew, are going over to Magpie Brewery, who contain two of the lads who were Place to Brew, who won the Hop Idol competition, who brought into Magpie Brewery and are now brewing at Magpie. So it's crazy world. It's amazing how Nottingham's beer community, it all intermingles somewhat brilliantly. With Raggy on the outside watching over. But anyway, so as you can see, Lenton Lane glass, cracking glass mind. And I've got to tell you, Lenton Lane, we'll talk about Lenton Lane a bit more anyway, because I've got lots to say about them, as I do. For me, a great brewery releasing modern traditional beers with a bit of, I don't class them as fully modern traditional. I class them as crafty, but not super crafty in that respect. A little bit of sediment in the bottom there. Didn't realise it until I absolutely poured it all away. So it's not looking as it should do because of that sediment. So take no notice of the sediment. It's a reddish pour normally. I know what it looks like because I've had it in the pub. Poured the blooming sediment in by mistake. It happens on a lot of beers these days, you know, and it does say on this is a bottle conditioned real ale. So my bad. And to be honest though, and the sediment's where all the good stuff is. So anyway, despite the look of the pour, for the sediment reasons, so if you watch this, you know, have a look online. You'll have seen that I've already reviewed it on cask, and it looks. If I hadn't poured the blooming sediment in, it would have looked like that. Wasn't paying attention. So lovely fruity nose on this, malty fruity nose. And again on the taste, absolutely bang on fruity taste. I'm really gutted now because I've poured the beer and the beer's not looking as it should do because of that sediment. So it's not oxidized. Before anybody asks, it's not oxidized. It's just that I poured the chuffing sediment in and not watching what one's doing. Talking and not watching. Here's what it is. These things happen. So Lenton Lane, they in the last week with the closing down of Totally Brewed, which, you know, it is really sad. I hope that Rob with Totally Brewed comes back under Totally Tapped as a Totally Tapped brewery. Maybe that's a way back in, or maybe he's just had enough of brewing. It happens. People leave the brewery trade. As in all trades, you know, we come and go, don't we? You know, if you're fed up with it, these things happen. Nonetheless, I'm hoping that clears a bit before, but I might need a bit more than the time allocated that I've got to spend. But anyway, Lenton Lane, the brewed Starlight for the Star Inn at Beeston, and I had that the other day, and it just, that is a pub that gets through something crazy like 7 or 8 casks a week of well, it was Stargaze, now it's Starlight. £3.30 a pint they're selling it for, which is a good price for a 4% beer. Very similar to using the same hops as what Totally Brewed did. Slight variation because obviously the water might be different in that area of Nottingham, and then the adding of the hops at the time might be different. But it's had a big thumbs up anyway. So I don't know if anybody from Lenton Lane watches my beer reviews, but yeah, it was well received on Saturday. Couldn't really say that on the 60-second review that I did, but yeah, it was well received, and they were glad to see it back on the bar. Quite a few Lenton Lanes on the bar. Talking about Lenton Lane Brewery, when I look at Lenton Lane Brewery, I look at a brewery that, well, they've expanded last year, buying more casks. So that's amazing. Predominantly a cask brewery with a good range of bottled beers. They did do some in can at one stage, but they've gone back to doing bottles. I'm not sure if they've got a bottling line or they just do it manually. I don't know. I've never actually been into Lenton Lane's site to have a nosy round, and I'm not the sort of person who invites myself either. I never have done, never will do, unless someone says to me, "Come down," you know, and yeah, just you know, it is what it is. It's an anxiety thing, but range of beers in bottle, range of beers on keg, stunning. All what I would say crowd pleasing ABVs in that sweet zone of somewhere between 3 and 6.5%, 3.5 and 6.5%. So perfect for pubs, perfect for cask. I don't think they do any keg beers, but I'm not on. They may do actually. or maybe they just do smaller barrels. I'm not sure. I'm not fully up on the terminology of all these different sized blooming barrels, firkins and all these other things. I always thought firkin was something from Harry Potter, but yeah, or something along them lines anyway. I don't know. It's been a long day. I've had a long day today. Uh, can't say anything on the internet, but it's been a long day. My son's done something stupid, and for a little boy, yeah. But you know, we all learn lessons in life, and the thing with lessons is you have to learn, move on, don't do it again. And yeah. So I am going to be getting some mini kegs from Lenton Lane for the Raggy Beer Festival over at my wedding bows. I've still got to invite people to that. I've not invited everyone over. That I'm thinking about inviting. Obviously, hopefully I've invited a fair few of the brewery people over, but the ones I know, I don't know everybody from the brewery trade, and you know, there's only so many people you can invite, and although half the people that I've invited haven't even said they're coming, so probably under about 20 people there is what it is. A lot more beer to drink. But yeah, I'm gonna have a couple of mini kegs. I'm not sure how long you get with Lenton Lane's beers, so that'll be interesting. I'm sure I sent an email, but I've never had a reply, so I'm not. Unless the reply just didn't get to me because it's the blooming internet. So I do get that at times where you send an email and they don't receive it, and it's like, but I sent it. Is what it is. So it's retaining the head, lovely. To apologise if you're watching in and you're thinking, what the hell are you drinking? It would have been a lovely red pour, reddish pour, but I poured the sediment in, so all on me. I'll take that one on the nose. Smelling and tasting absolutely lovely though. There's a lovely smoothness to it. There's a fruitiness to it. There's malty. Gotta say, Lenton Lane. I'm not sure if Jack is the only brewer there, or if there's another brewer. Like I said, I don't know the brewery that well in that respect. To be honest, I don't know many of the breweries that well, apart from some of the nanos and smaller breweries. But yeah, beers they're bringing out absolutely cracking. Good to see them using. They've got like a trial kit, and they're experimenting with that, like bringing 8% beers out. I think even this week there's an 8% Belgian beer coming out. Obviously, small. It's a small batch thing, so literally, if it goes into keg, don't ask me, I don't know. But if it goes into keg, then normally the micro pubs are the first ones at the door. This is the amazing thing about the local beer scene, is that the micro pubs have some of the best beers you can get, and they'll get the beers that are like the one-offs, and some of these beers are absolutely amazing from all sorts of local breweries, and you know, you've got to be in it to win it. So you know, if you see it at a certain bar, you've got to get your backside down there, and the only person in Nottingham who seems to get around all these and gets there is our man Vincent Lee. He's an absolute legend of the beer world, a true beer fan, and certainly the Nottingham Camera's absolute best member. And I think he was on the committee at one stage, but I think he's come off there now. But absolute legend. I am not a member of Canberra, and I never have been. And again, and I suppose in some ways it's like the place to brew thing. We literally survive on a certain amount of money per month, and my vice is to buy beers for reviewing. We do quite a bit more now as well, so that's a good thing. It's good for us to get out, you know. Sometimes in life, if you don't get out, You know, seeing four walls every night is not the best. You've got you know, it's not the best thing. Sometimes it's nice to get a sample of beer in a pub and in a good pub at least, and appreciate it. And the one thing about Nottingham is we have so many amazing pubs, some fantastic people. When you get in there talking, and beer is the universal language of beer is stunning. Absolutely love it. Anyway, rattling on too long. It's not going to clear for me. I think it would have done if I'd leave it about an hour, but I'm not leaving it an hour because it's going into my time. Tastes like a 4.9%. You know, it's got that, feels like that in the strength, and it's a nice beer. I like to see another thing. I mean, I loving this thing where home brewers are getting to do brewing with breweries. So it's a lovely gesture from the likes of Lenton Lane and also Magpie this weekend. Um, that's an absolute stonking beer. I've just peed off that I poured the sediment in. The taste on that is amazing. And for those who've had it, please comment if you've had it on cask or in bottle. But if you've had it or any of the place to brew people, please, or even Lenton Lane, I think this is one of the best beers I've had from Lenton Lane. I've got to be honest. It's got a right flavour to it. There's a good kick to it. It's a nice tasting beer. It needs rebrewing. It needs to be in a beer that's done again for the future. Would I like to see a stronger version? Yeah, maybe like an imperial red IPA, if such a thing exists. Even a trial kit jobber. Like I said, I'm open. Not that I can't tag Star in on Facebook. So for some reason, every time I tag Star in, I get some Inverness brewery called the Star pub called the Star Inn. Yeah, yeah. And then it got pointed out after about 3 months. Someone says to me, "Why are you tagging an Inverness pub?" And I'm like, "What?" And yeah, I can't tag them for whatever reason. But I'd love to see a tap takeover at the Star Inn from Lenton Lane across all their 10 cask um, range that they've got. That would be amazing. But we'll see. We'll see if that ever happens. Hopefully it will. I know they've got a new bloke in charge now on the old beer buying side of things. Sad that the fella left. I got on with him, but we'll see how it goes on that respect. But yeah, big long review of this. I've enjoyed it. So, as you can see, it's not looking at its best. It would be a more clear red pour. I poured the sediment in, so that's down on me. Retaining the head beautifully. Look at that, perfectly retaining the head. Malty, fruity taste, a fantastic modern traditional / crafty, slightly crafty beer from me. For me, from Lenton Lane and the Place to Brew Homebrew Club. Would I drink it again? Hell yes, which is something of a rarity. At 5, a good 4.55. Absolute cracking. Scores don't mean a lot in the grand scheme of things. It's a fucking good beer. Cheers.